Hey everyone, this is Kabomi here. I am going to share my thoughts and opinions on the rosters going into the 2024 LCS Spring Split. There are only 8 teams here, so it's going to be a relatively quick video. We should be able to get through this pretty easily. As you can see here, I already have him listed out, so we're kind of going to go through and give my thoughts on them. We'll go from D tier to S tier pretty quickly. So we'll start off with Immortals. Immortals currently has Castle, Armeo, Mass, Tactical, and Ole. I personally don't agree with the Castle and Mass pickups. I do think there is a lot of good players left out in the league due to the EG and GG leaving that they could have picked up instead, probably for a lot cheaper as well. And Castle, if I'm not mistaken, or no, I'm thinking of Dove from Dignitas. My apologies. But I think this team is probably going to be 8th in LCS. I think they're the worst team in here. Armeo usually has a couple of good games and then falls off pretty heavily. Tactical is a very emotional player, so he's going to be very much hit or miss in regards to if he's performing super well or if he's going to be 0-10. Ole has had a couple of years break due to military service for the Korea, or for the Korean military rather, and so I'm not sure how well or how much informed he is going to be. So that should be an interesting take, but I don't know how much skill-wise Mask and Castle will be, or if they're just going to get out laned, get out macroed, or just have a lot of jungle pressure put onto them. So I don't think they're going to perform all too well. Going from D to C, we have Dignitas. In Dignitas, we have Rich, Exu, Dove, Tomo, and Isles. Rich was a lot of fun to watch. We watched him play Alawi, we watched him play Quinn, all these, unique fun picks that brought a little bit of a different edge to Dignitas in summer, which I think gave him a little bit of competitive edge because they weren't the best going into summer. I don't know too much about Exu. I do know Dove was a top laner for Live Sandbox. Last I heard and last I read he was. If I'm incorrect on that, my apologies. But role swap into mid, again, like with EG and GG leaving and how well our challenger scene has been, I think we could have just picked up another one of those players and kind of thrived and built around that. Tomo had a lot of good lights in him. He wasn't that great. He was pretty average rather when it came to team fighting, but I think his laning was pretty strong. I think just the constant switching of supports though tends to have impacts in regards to your confidence, how well you can lane. Isles used to be in the LCS a few years ago. He was a pretty fun player to watch, and then now I believe he went to the collegiate scene, and then now he's in challenger scene, moving his way back into the LCS. So I think Dignitas has a good bit of potential, depending on how they play around their key pieces. But I do think they're probably going to be 7th. I do think they're going to be a little bit better than Immortals because I think they have the better 80, more consistent rather 80 carry and the better top laner. So I think it's going to go Immortals and Dignitas going in that area. Then we have Shopify Rebellion, who bought out as TSM's spot. TSM has left the LCS, the organization. And in them we have Fake God, Boogie, Insanity, Beeble, and Zazel. Super excited to see Zazel back in the LCS. I thought he was a very good support when he was on C9 playing with Sneaky and that crew. Insanity and Boogie I think outperformed their expectations heavily in summer, so we're going to see if they can continue that form going forward. I'm a bit skeptical on Fake God. When I watched him on Dignitas, I think last year in the LCS, he wasn't that good. He got punished a lot. I just don't think he was LCS ready. I've heard good things of him in Challenger. I've heard he's become more confident. He's a lot more consistent. So we'll see if that's going to translate to the LCS stage because I think that'd be really cool. Another upcoming story similar to like Palafox and Contracts and Dokla, like another one of those guys. I think would be really cool. B-Boy, I've heard some pretty negative things about. So we're gonna see how he does. I think pickups like 6A or Sven or even Unforgiven, players like those, or even another Challengers player may have been a better pickup, and again, save you some money depending on how much you did spend for him. But I think Shopify Rebellion again has a lot of good potential. We're gonna see how well they do it. The thing that puts me for them getting 6th is their top lane and their AD carry. I'm not sure how well they're going to perform and how much it's going to impact their season. So if they do perform, they can probably hit top 4 with relatively ease. But if it's struggling, I still think they'll beat Immortals and Dignitas, but they may not be able to beat the other teams. Going from them, we have 100 Thieves. In there, we have Sniper, River, Quid, Meech, Ayla from top to bottom. I am extremely excited for Sniper to get his LCS start. I've been waiting for like 3 years since I've heard of this kid. His solo queue name is General Sniper. He is Viper's brother, younger brother. And I've heard nothing but great things about him. He is very, very mechanically good at the game. And he's been working with pro teams since he's like 13 or 14. And so he's kind of already got a head up on the curve. I really hope 100 Thieves doesn't do what they did to Tenacity and just kind of just relegate his skill set. I think River should try to play towards topside, similar like he played towards topside with Licorice. I think they should try to do the same thing. If River keeps his form up like he had in spring playoffs and MSI, and in the entirety of the summer split, I think 100 Thieves has potential to, break top 3. But I'm a bit hit or miss on Quid. I think he was looking pretty consistent towards the end of summer, but like coming into summer, he looked really rough. It was only really his Azir games that looked pretty well, and I'm not sure how Azir is going to be in meta with new items. So that's definitely something we're going to have to keep an eye out for. Ayla as well has also been hit or miss. He was very hyped up on Team Liquid. CoreJJ hyped him up quite a bit. Then he went to FlyQuest, took over the spot of... I can't think of his name right now. But he took over the previous support spot and paired up with Prince and looked horrendous. Looked really, really bad. Then he went to EG. EG, he looked really good on EG for about 3/4 of split and then started to fall off again. But I would contribute that a little bit more towards the jungling issue that EG ran into with Armeo and Shaden. So that's jungle's a very hard one to hit back and forth on and have your team find success. And I've heard good things about Meech, their AD carry, so we'll see how Meech does. And then from 100 Thieves we go to Team Liquid. Team Liquid we have Impact, Umpty, APA, Yawn, CoreJJ from top to bot. I think Impact rather is a very big upgrade from Summit. Not so much in the laning department, but in the mid game / team fighting aspect of it. I think that's going to provide a very good centerpiece to work around, because previously they were very, very good at laning, but they just had no solidity in the mid game, no consistency in the mid game to really close out these games. So we're going to see if Umpty is able to create the early leads that Piosik was able to create, and if Impact and CoreJJ shot calling is able to lead the younger guys into a solid mid-game state to get wins. APA's laning wasn't impressive. It wasn't like horrible, but it wasn't just like eye-catching like JoJo's is. But APA is very good at team fighting with the champions that he does play on, so I do think that's a very good strength for him. I have them sitting at 4th below FlyQuest because I think TL's initial skill level is better, but their ceiling isn't as high as FlyQuest's is. So I think Team Liquid can 100% take games off of like Energy, Cloud9, FlyQuest, like take games off everyone, right? But I don't think the consistency is going to be there in order to have a lot of wins. So from there we go to FlyQuest. FlyQuest has Buppo, Inspired, Jensen, Masu, and Busio. Busio I was very impressed with throughout the year. I think he showed a lot of growth, which is good. Usually if you have rookies come in and they look like they've just been the same or like stagnant, it's very hard to root for them because you just feel like they're never going to get better. Busio, the exact opposite. He went from playing Azir support in game 1 of the spring and then coming into a more traditional support role and performing very, very, very well. Masu has been killing it in challenger scene. I believe he just won the MVP in that as well and won the whole thing. So I think Masu is going to be a very exciting ADC to watch. Hopefully he doesn't crumble under the pressure. I don't think he will personally, but you never know. Jensen has had a rocky year, actually the last 2 years, because he got dropped from Team Liquid beginning of last year, was teamless. Then he went into C9's team in the summer of that year. C9 ended up winning summer. Thank God. Got to Worlds, played very, very mediocre at Worlds. Then he got booted off C9, went to Dignitas, had a horrible year in spring, and came into summer and, you know, was one game out of the playoffs. Like, they performed a bit better, but it's hard to say there. Inspired, previous MVP, had a split off coming in, as well as Wopo. Both of them have had the last. Inspired, I believe, is the last few months, summer, and then Wopo, I don't believe, had a team all of 2023. So we're going to see how their transition back into competitive is going to be. I do think they have a very, very high skill floor where they can contest even the likes of C9. But I think initially going into the split, I think they're going to be pretty mediocre. But they should scale pretty well. Energy is going to be the next team on the list, who I think is top 2. They are running with Dokla, Contracts, Palafox, FBI, and Huhi. So they basically are running the same group of people they ran with through all of 2023, except now they have Huhi instead of Ignar, which I personally think is a big upgrade. Because I believe the main shot calling prior was Contracts, and I think Huhi will pair very well with Contracts. And I think that Contracts, Palafox, Huhi as a trio should do very well in terms of making plays together in the mid lane. So I'm very excited to see that. FBI, I think, had his best split since coming back into the league. Well, not coming back into the league, but since coming to the LCS, I think had his best split in summer of 2023 on Energy. Dokla, I think, played very well at Worlds. Contracts, I think everyone played very well. I was very happy for him. You know, they got knocked out in quarters, but they lost to a team that ended up going to World Finals. So, like, we're going to take that as a dub. And last but not least, we have Cloud9. We have Fudge, Blabber, Jojo, Berserker, and Vulcan. I think this is by far the team to beat. Their expectation at the moment is that if they don't win spring, the roster failed. If they don't win summer, the roster failed. They have, at the moment, jungle, mid, and ADC, the 3 best players in their roles. Vulcan, it can arguably be made as the best support, although I think that spot currently goes to Huhi. I would say Vulcan is definitely top 3. And then you have Fudge, who domestically has always been the best top laner in the league. Stats-wise, eye test-wise, he can be hit or miss, and then internationally, we don't even get into that. But I think Fudge, the majority of the time, is the best top laner, so just going off that metric, you have 3, potentially 5 of the best players in the league in their roles on a team. So C9 is 100% team to beat right now. I'm very excited, as you can tell. I have high hopes. I have dreams. I don't want those dreams to get crushed. So that's my thoughts on it. I think my thoughts can change from between now and when the season starts. A lot of it's going to come in relation to the formatting, whether we have like best of 3s, if we have the fearless draft, or if it just stays a best of 1s. I think that's going to put a lot of emphasis on that. So depending on what the formats are, I may release another one of these videos come in a month or so with the format updates. If you want tier lists like these for the other regions, LCS, LPL, LCK, mainly the minor regions, I don't keep up too much with the minors. Feel free to leave a comment below. You know, leave a like, subscribe, do the bell, do like all that neat stuff. But yeah, if you guys want more videos like this, please let me know. Other than that, you have a great rest of your day.